Hey guys, welcome along to this week's Level Up Personal Development Training event. I'm super excited to be on here today, and mainly because of our special guest. He's somebody who has become a great friend in this business, but he's someone who I was really wanting to get on to this event to share that part of what has allowed him to create a life that a lot of people would be envious of, right? This gentleman found himself at a spot in his life, I guess, where he knew he wanted more. He knew he was destined for more, but also knew he had to become the person who he needed to become to go and create the life that he wanted. And so it's often people like that that have the most to share and the most to give through their own experience, their own journey of personal development. And the thing that I love about this guy is hanging out with him. Everything is a learning experience for this gentleman. Whatever happens, he's always looking at what I can learn from this. The people that he meets, he's always looking, what can I learn from this person? And so I think there's a lot to be taken away from that mindset, to be open, always open to learning, open to improving, and open to getting better. So I'm going to turn the time directly over to him now, because I don't want to waste any more of your time with my waffling on. But a few of you guys know this gentleman. It's Blue Diamond, Mr. Andreas Mendoza, all the way from the US. It's his Saturday evening that he's giving up to pour some value into us. So, Mr. Mendoza, are you able to get off mute there? I've unmuted everyone hard, have I?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Thanks for coming
on. Man, I want to be where you're at. It looks phenomenal.
It's definitely not too shabby. Blue sky, sun's out, nice and warm.
Super jealous right now. Well, thank you. I'm honored for you to even have me on tonight. Mr. Simon, you guys heard him speak, that definitely learning everywhere I go, and everything's a lesson. And you don't know how much that I've learned from the Simons, from him and his beautiful wife. And like he says, we're more than friends. I consider him family now, and that's, to me, one of the biggest blessings for this business. Really, is truly the journey, the person you become throughout the journey, but the people that you get to meet and the people that become your family. For me, is more important than the success in the business or any type of dollar amount. So thank you for having me on. Love you, man. And you guys don't know how blessed and lucky you are to have the Simons as the ones that are driving your ship. I would be bugging the crap out of him every single day. He's going to hate me probably for saying this, but I would literally be messaging them constantly every day, because they have a wealth of knowledge, just not in our little small niche business alone, in general. And you can learn so much from them. You just got to listen to them 100%, not 99%, 100%. Be sold out, and I guarantee you, they can take you places that you would only dreamed of before. So every time I can, I attach myself to their hips as well. So, but personal growth is probably the utmost important part about this whole journey, is becoming a better version of you, like Mr. Simon was saying. And whenever I was asked to speak on this, there's all kinds of personal growth and personal development things running through my mind. And it all starts with just having the right mindset and the right attitude and committing. And today I want to give you guys a training of mine that I really like. I've done it a couple times, so if you have heard it some way, somehow, you're going to hear it again, because repetition is key, right? But it's an article that I came across about a gentleman who saw a documentary on how Hawaii was founded. Has anybody ever looked into how Hawaii was founded? Put your hands up for those brave people that have your cameras on. I see your beautiful faces. Sam, how you doing? Carol and Mr. Honda, how you doing? Let's see, who else do we got over here? Any other faces? Oh, everybody else is shy. Oh, there we go, Abigail. And Margarita, let's drink. I'm just kidding. So who else? Chelsea, Madam. Man, we got All kinds of beautiful faces. So hi, everybody. I love that we can connect, even though it's crazy right now. Miss Janine Kearney, Mr. Kearney, love you guys. Good seeing you guys. But I want to dive in because I don't have too much time. Heather, Jason, Mr. Gordon. Man, there's a ton of people on. I'm excited. Hopefully I can deliver for you guys. So this individual saw this documentary, and I got my notes right here in front of me. And it was about how Hawaii was founded. And it's a story about perseverance and determination. Do you guys feel like to achieve anything great in this life, you're going to need some perseverance and determination? Okay, perfect. So we all have heard this millions of times, but the only surefire way, and this has to do with personal growth, personal development, mindset. I didn't always think like this. It's a philosophy, right? But now we all heard this. The only sure way to fail is to quit, right? Show of hands, can people agree with me? I actually think there's two ways you can fail. One is by making the same mistake over and over again. That's failing. You're not learning from it, right? And then two is just to flat out quit. So this is going to be a good story, maybe even a good swift kick in the butt, because who needs a good kick in the butt every now and then to stay focused? I know I do. Nobody's perfect. I don't care what rank you see an individual at. We all need a swift kick in the butt, right? So it's no big secret that big goals take time. Can you guys agree with me on that? If it's a big goal and it's worth it, it's going to take some time. And unfortunately, we live in a society where everything is microwave. We want microwave success. We want 5-minute abs. Who wants abs in 5 minutes? I know I do, right? But for some reason, we're programmed and we're groomed to actually believe that this is a normal thing, and it's absolutely not. We're led false information, and we're buying into it, right? You need to change your philosophy if you haven't done so already, and realize that big goals take time, okay? You have to think of months or even years down the road. And this is what successful do better than most. They think months or even years down the road. Unsuccessful people, they think in today, right now. YOLO, you only live once, right? That's the unsuccessful philosophy, which been there, done that. I had the t-shirt that said YOLO. I was the poster board, right? But again, it's all about your personal growth and the journey on becoming better, right? So because these goals take so much time, we're often tempted to quit before we reach them. Who's guilty of that? Let me see a show of hands on that. We all are, right? And that's what's crazy about this opportunity in this vehicle. And I want to read this article, and I want to go through it, and trust me, just bear with me. I'm going to tie it all in and how it relates to us and our business and our personal growth and all that good stuff. Who is like me and they love stories? They love to hear stories. Okay, because I have an attention span of a 10-year-old, or I used to have one of a 10-year-old, but now because of Kayani, I'm about a 20-year-old attention span. So I love stories, and that's why I want to read this article, because I was fascinated with it, and I was like, man, it brought me so much value that I would love to share it with everybody else. So this is a story that's going to show you why you shouldn't give up, okay? Hawaii was discovered around AD 1000. Nobody really knows, right? By a group of seafaring Polynesians. I believe you guys down under would know that more than I would, right? Who inhabited and explored many islands of the South Pacific, okay? And if you look at the map of the world, you guys all know this, Hawaii is one of the most isolated spots on the planet, smack dab in the middle of nowhere. It's just boom, in the middle of the water, right? So it's already incredible that it was discovered so early on in human history, okay? But what they did to get there is what makes the story even more amazing, okay? Because of its isolation, they would have never known Hawaii was even there, okay? They suspected it was there because they noticed a bird called the golden plover, which migrated north out into the open water every single year. So they saw these birds that would go north every year. And they believed that land must be out there somewhere. They just couldn't see it. Okay, so they set sail from the Marquesas Islands to follow them. The islands is as close as you can get to Hawaii, but they're still about 2,500 miles away. Don't ask me how many kilometers is that. It's a lot. All right, it's a lot of kilometers away. Okay, nowadays it roughly takes 30 days to sail from Hawaii to the Marquesas, and that's using modern day equipment. So back then, all these guys had was something very simple. They had a hollowed out log as their wooden boat and their own understanding of navigation, okay? And at some point, they would lose So what the Polynesians would do, they would follow these birds every year. They would see these birds. They would jump in their little boats and they would start paddling their little butts off, and they would follow the birds. But the problem is the birds always flew faster than what they could paddle. So they could only keep up for a short distance. Then they would have to turn back around. But guess what? Do you think they stopped after following the birds one time? Say, you know what? I really believe there's some land out there for my people, for my family, for generations to come. But you know what? I lost sight of the birds. I'm going to turn around and go back and never do it again. No, what they did was they said, next time we see the birds, we're going out again. So every year they would try again and they would pick up where they left off. They know where the birds were because of where they left off last time. Like, all right, this is the last place we saw them. So let's chill here until they come by and then let's start paddling our butts off. Right? So years passed and they kept going further and further into the Pacific, but they still never saw land. Okay? According to the documentary, and this is mind blowing, it took the Polynesians not 4 years, not 40 years, but 400 years to finally reach Hawaii using this method, right? Talk about resilience. You think those people have determination and resilience and they have their mindset to something, they're going to make it happen? 400 years. Think about that. Some of us can't even do a 90-day blitz with our business, right? And they committed to 400 years before they reached their destination, okay? So imagine the determination and perseverance you would need to achieve something this big and this great for your family, for your people, for your culture. After generations of hard work, belief, and perseverance and determination, I'm going to read that one again. After generations of hard work, not just hard work for a day, right? Generations of hard work, belief, work, belief, right? Action, belief, perseverance, keep going, and determination, whatever it takes. That's why you guys are in this group, whatever it takes, right? After years of uncertainty and doubt, they finally reached their goal, right? Who has uncertainty and doubt about their goals sometimes? It happens, okay? So imagine persevering and having determination and keep going for 400 years. So by this point, Hawaii might have become something like a mythical idea to these individuals. To actually reach it must have brought many of the travelers to tears. Just to think about how their parents and their grandparents and just generations of people that paddled into the middle of nowhere because they believed in their heart there was something there, and then for them finally to achieve it, right? How wonderful that must have felt. So you got to inspire yourself, okay? You got to understand how important this vehicle, Kayani, is that we have, because maybe the goal for you, like the goal for me is double black diamond, okay? Now, let's say I bust my butt off and I'm paddling, and I paddle, and I reach red diamond, and then I pass the coordinates off to my daughter. My daughter paddles her little butt off, and she reaches black diamond, and she passes it down to her kids, and they get almost to double black diamond, but not quite. They pass it down to their kids. They're paddling, boom, and they're double black diamond. 4 generations down, they're double black diamond. Would that be worth all the paddling that I do today? Think about that. Maybe for you, maybe it's not double black diamond. Maybe for you, it's like, man, let me paddle my butt off to blue diamond, right? And you're paddling, and then you're done, and you pass the torch to your next generation, and they take it a blue diamond, a purple diamond, and they pass it down. You got to understand, you got to look at the big picture. You got to look for generations, right? You got to be sold out, and that's where the personal growth and the personal mindset comes in, where you got to do whatever it takes and just be committed. Say, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how long it's going to take. I just know it's going to happen, and I'm going to get there because I'm going to paddle my butt off while I'm here, right? So I love that story. You got to inspire yourself. This was over 1,000 years ago, yet their struggles relate a lot to our own goal setting, okay? We're all working towards an unknown destination like the Polynesians. The principles are exactly the same. But here's the kicker. Here's the difference. Did they know land was there for sure, 100%? Have they actually seen the land before? No, right? Do we know what's achievable here within Kayani? Yeah, we've seen it. Look at the Simons. Look at the success they had. Look at the success the Kearneys had. Look at all the other leaders, Mr. Jan Bistrup. Look at Mr. James Bradford. You guys, the island is visible. You know it's there. So you're not just paddling out, well, maybe it's there. You know that there is something great to be achieved here with this opportunity. Okay? So I love that. Your big goal is like Hawaii. And I want you to remember this story when you think about your goals. And I want you to believe that your goal is like Hawaii. Excuse me for a second. After a lot of hard work and perseverance, the Polynesians reached the goal that took them years to accomplish. The question is, how long are you willing to stay consistent paddling with no land in sight for your goals? How long are you be willing to paddle to reach your Hawaii within this opportunity? How long? Right? And this is where personal growth, personal development comes in. It should be however long it takes. Right? And if I got to pass the torch, if I don't quite reach the top, I'm going to pass the torch and let my kids paddle their little butts off. Right? And keep passing it down and keep passing it down. So there was no guarantee they'd reach it. For all they knew, they were sailing out to nothing. That's crazy. Because imagine you haven't seen any success stories in Kayani. Nobody. Kayani's been around since 2007. Imagine there was nobody that ever hit diamond. Would you feel comfortable paddling in this boat right now? Absolutely not, right? We have the success stories. We have proof that Hawaii is there. And yes, the Kearneys say paddling is fun. When it's done right, it is absolutely fun. And you know what's even more fun? When you're not paddling by yourself and you got a team paddling with you. Because first it's you, but you got to paddle, right? So this is what goal setting is like. You're not completely certain it's out there, but you work on the faith that you'll reach it. You'll work on the faith. You got to believe, right? Sometimes you have to risk going out into nothing in order to get where you want to be. Did you guys, when I first started, I kind of felt like this business was a risk. Maybe not just financially wise, but just like, oh, what are people going to think about me? Right? It's a risk. You gotta risk it to get the biscuit, right? You gotta go for it. Okay. So your clues to success are like the birds. The birds that the Polynesians see every year, man, you guys got the birds that come multiple times a year, which are these events, an event like what you're on now, which are the team calls, which are the regionals or our internationals. These are all birds because we got to go. We got to see them because the birds fire us up. They're like, oh my God, look, there they are. They're going somewhere. There's got to be land, right? And then what happens when we can't see the birds anymore? We're kind of like, let's turn back. I don't know. So we turn back. Our belief, our excitement kind of goes down. But then guess what? We go and grab another event like what we're doing now. And then the belief and the excitement gets back up. We track the birds again and we paddle a little further. That's why events are so important. That's why your mindset and your personal growth has to be so sold out to doing whatever it takes and being committed to make sure you're following every single bird that is possible out there for this opportunity. Okay. So the Polynesians saw the birds flying in the direction of Hawaii and they figured that land was there. That was their clue. They'd eventually reach their destination. So again, we have our events. This is what shows us what's possible. We have amazing leaders like the Simons, which shows us what's possible. We're all setting big goals or dreams on a clue or a hunch that will reach them. We all had a vision when we joined Kayani, right? There was a vision. God, the universe, whoever you believe in, put a vision in your mind of what Kayani can do for you and your family. You just got to have the right mindset in order to achieve it. Okay? So, it's our determination and belief. Determination, belief. I've probably said that 1,000 times just in this little training. In those clues that keep us going. You got to have faith in you. Not just you. You got to have faith in the system. You got to have faith in the company. You got to have faith in the compensation plan. You got to have faith in the products. You got to have faith in everything you do, your leadership, right? You just got to believe. You got to be sold out. Okay? So your obstacles are like the ocean. Is everyone having their own oceans right now? Is everybody facing challenges right now, especially this day and age? It's crazy because your energy is your life force, right? And wherever your attention, energy goes, attention flows, right? And that's what creates your reality. So what's fighting right now for your attention and your energy and your emotions? The world. There's just so much negative stuff out there. That's why personal growth and personal development is so doggone important, especially this day and age, because they want to use your energy for their own agendas. So you got to stay the course. You got to keep track of your Hawaii. You got to be visualizing your Hawaii, not just in business, in your personal life, in everything that you do. Don't let your life force get drained and your attention flow elsewhere that's not in line with your lifelong goals and what you want to achieve in this world. Now, am I saying just be completely ignorant on the fact of what's going on in this world? No, absolutely not. But you got to keep your energy focused on Hawaii, right? So we all have our oceans. We all have the obstacles. So reaching Hawaii meant paddling across 2,500 miles, not sure how many kilometers that is, through the Pacific, navigating over the open water, making sure their boat did not sink. That was a huge obstacle. A wooden hollowed out tree in the middle of that big ocean. They had a simple tool. Guess what? We have a simple tool with this opportunity. We just got to use it, right? All we do is pique somebody's interest. We pass them to the information, then we connect them to somebody that can answer their questions. We rinse and repeat. We get a new business partner. We go through 4 steps again, right? We get them to make their list. We do a power hour with them. We help them into action, right? And then we set up a Zoom or a PBR and we rinse and repeat. This is such a simple system and a simple tool. I think we all tend to overcomplicate it at times, right? So we all have goals to overcome. We all have things standing in our way, and they can often seem so big that we'll never achieve them, but with enough perseverance, we can usually get around them all. We can absolutely get around them all. And for me, nothing is ever hard. I like to have the right mindset. I like to say things are easy. I just haven't gotten there yet, right? Of course, there's challenges. Of course, there's obstacles, but those are just opportunities for me to get better and grow. God, the universe is telling me I'm not ready right now. That's why I'm facing this challenge. I need to learn something here before I can level up and get to the next level. But every level, there's another devil, right? So another challenge, another obstacle, and we got to keep moving and keep growing. The problem is we get here, boom, we're like, yes, we made it. No, oh, we hit a challenge, and then we're like stagnant, and sometimes we even go reverse. And if you're not moving forward, you're not doing anything, right? So don't ever stop working towards your goals. The big takeaway to the story is that you have to keep working towards your goals. Determination and perseverance pay off. Again, saying these over and over again. This means staying consistent, okay? And not just for a day, not seeing the birds and like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Let me connect with a few people, make some phone calls. Let me connect them with my upline leadership. And you did it for a day, consistent for a day. No, not consistent for a couple of days. No, not consistent for a week, not consistent for a month. You need to be consistent for at least 90-day intervals. And even at that, when my wife and I first started this business, I could say that we pretty much stayed consistent and sacrificed everything for almost 2 years straight. And I'm pretty sure the Simons as well, the Kearneys as well, right? That's how you create momentum. You take activity that most 95% of people that join opportunities like this, they do this same activity, but they do it over a year. The successful people take that activity and they condense it into 1 month. That's how you're able to create massive momentum, right? But it all starts with the mindset of saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I'm going to stay consistent for as long as it takes, because it's not about just me. You know, I don't do this for my first name. I do it for my last name, because I want to pass this down to my daughter and let her run with the torch. You know, double black diamond, even if I don't hit it, as long as I know I gave it all I got and I follow those birds as far as I can go. And you know what I mean? Some money is better than no money, right? Helping some people is better than helping no people, right? So all goals have obstacles to overcome. And again, we have things standing in our way, so don't stop working towards them. That means working hard, even if you don't see an end in sight. This is the challenge. This is where it becomes challenging. You got to keep going, even though you can't see your Hawaii. How often do the Polynesians stop at some random place in the middle of the ocean and see absolutely nothing? Probably a lot. But did they quit? Nope. Did they see those birds that were going in one direction? Then all of a sudden, here comes one bird and had something shiny in its mouth going the other way. And they're like, oh, I'm going to go follow that bird, even though it's going right back to where they started. Did they do that? Absolutely not. Stay focused. Don't get distracted with everything shiny that pops up, because you won't be able to create a fire that way, right? If your energy is all over the place. So, are you seeing nothing in your business right now? If you're not, just understand that it's part of the process. And Mr. John C. Maxwell talked about this. He gave the example of ice freezing. And this, again, this is in degrees Fahrenheit, so Celsius, sorry. You're just going to have to listen to me. So he would talk about, so water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. He goes, but you don't see what happens at, 35, 34, 33. Even at 33, you don't see anything. And all of a sudden, 32, you see a change in the water, it turns to ice, but you didn't see any change, nothing. There was no progress, but there is progress. Understand that. You're paddling to your Hawaii, you're out in the middle of nowhere, and you got to turn back around. That's still progress, because now you got further than you were yesterday. Remember that, inch by inch. Okay? So you'll face that moment too while pursuing your goal. You'll stop and look around and see absolutely nothing. Just know that that's normal. And I think a lot of people have the wrong mindset when it comes to failing or not seeing success, because we want to compare our Hawaii with somebody else's Hawaii. We want to compare our paddling to somebody else's paddling. And you look over there like, dang, they're so much further than me. What you don't know is they aren't using a paddle. They had a motor, right? Because they had, some growth or development from years ahead. Or, man, they had a different boat. Don't compare your success to other people, okay? So there will often be nothing to encourage us. Okay, there'll be often nothing telling us if our hunches are right. Luckily, we're part of a team and a support system that we do celebrate the small victories. We do celebrate the customers. We do celebrate the peaks that you're doing. We do celebrate the three-way chats, the three-way calls. We do celebrate the ranks that you're getting, the pay gates, the checks, the customers, the helping people, the donations. So you aren't just by yourself and have nothing showing you, right? Because you need to celebrate the small victories to get to the big ones. Be proud of those little victories. Even if it's a no, that's a victory. Even if you reached out to somebody and they flat out told you no, guess what? That's a victory, because you're one step closer to your yes, and you're able to actually say, this person told me no. Not a maybe, not a need time, not, no's are great. Make it a goal to hear a no and to move on. And just because it's a no, does that mean you're absolutely done with them forever? Absolutely not. You just keep a relationship with them. And a lot of the times you keep that relationship and they see that you're paddling and that you're determined, you know where you're going, because people need to see that you know where you're going. Like, man, there's a Hawaii out there. I know it. These people already been there. That's where I'm going. People need to see that you're committed here before anything else, before they want to join you and follow you, right? So the problem is that we see nothing, and we might really think that nothing is there. Okay, we all get afraid that our goals won't really be there. We all feel like we're working towards something that will never arrive. You have to have faith that your Hawaii is out there. You have to have faith that all your work will get you to your destination. You got to believe this, because if you're not, if you're like, this is all for nothing, man, I'm wasting my time. Guess what? You're going to be all for nothing and wasting your time. I think it was Miss Becky Purcell said it best. She was doing a training, a Q&A, and somebody asked a question. The lady goes, what I tell my kids and my husband who tell me that I've been doing this for 2 years with no results and it's a waste. And she goes, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep doing it? Or do you want to let that affect you and quit? Because if you quit, it's a waste. You did waste 2 years. But if you keep going and you reach your goal, is it a waste? Right? So remember that. We all get afraid that our goals won't really be there. We all feel like we're working towards something that will never arrive. And it often just takes small steps. You have to persevere and see it all the way to the end, not halfway, not all the way to like, oh, well, I reached this position. No, just keep going, right? Or I helped this customer. No, keep going. Sailing too far from the shore for so long can be scary, but guess what? it also could get you places. So in closing, I want to ask you guys, do you have faith? Do you have faith in you, first of all? And if you don't, that's okay. Because when I started this, I didn't have the belief in my heart that I could do this. I just had a mindset that I could, right? And I really didn't feel that I could, but it was somebody that instilled the belief in me that really got me going like, okay, I can do this. If they can do it, I can do it. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it, right? So do you have faith in your why? Not for me, not for Mr. Simon, but for your family, for yourself, for your spouse, for your people, for your network. Do you have faith? Right? For them. Do you have faith that Kyani is your vehicle, that Kyani is your boat, that Kyani can get you to your why? Right? And do you have faith that nothing will stop you? No ocean, no wave. Wave might knock you off your boat, but guess what you're going to do? You're going to climb back into that boat. You're going to wipe that salty water out of your eyes, and you're going to keep on paddling. Right? And if you're like Mr. Michael Simon, maybe you're going to put some sunscreen on because you don't want to burn with that nice white skin he's got over there. I love you, buddy. So to see more of your loved ones. Imagine, I know right now, a lot of us are getting to experience more time with the loved ones. Show of hands, who's actually spending more time because of what's going on in the world at home with their loved ones than they've ever done before, right? Guess what? With this opportunity, you can live like that for the rest of your life. I've been blessed with this opportunity because me and my wife, we paddled our butts off, and we started not paddling alone. I knew people that were better than me at this business, not because I was any good. I just knew people that were better than me, and they started paddling with me, right? And because of that, it's been like I've been in quarantine since August of 2015 with my family. And it's been an absolute blessing. And the Simon's the same, and we're here. We want to help you guys be able to achieve that if that's what you want, right? We want you to get anything you ever wanted out of this. So my call to action with this personal growth and personal development training is just to right here between just be sold out and say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find my Hawaii. I'm going to keep paddling, right? And I may not reach the big goal, whatever it is, but I'm going to get somewhere. Because even if you, let's say you paddle and you're emerald and you're making an extra 5,000 Australian dollars a month, and it takes you 5 years to do that, is that worth it for you and your family to be able to pass that down? That's like having, here in the United States, I would have to have 5 houses paid off, maybe 4 houses paid off, and that would be the residual income coming into my family. I would have to buy 5 small houses and rent them out to get that kind of money, right? So, guys, we have the vehicle. Just have faith in your ability, because if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it. What's your Hawaii? Visualize your Hawaii. When was the last time you really thought about your Hawaii? You need to think about it. You need to be obsessed with your Hawaii all day, every day, right? I'm pretty sure the Polynesians were obsessed with it. That's why they kept going year after year, and they probably couldn't wait for the birds to come. You guys should be chomping at the bits, waiting for the next event, waiting for the next, but not just waiting with no action in between, paddling. You know what I mean? Once it gets here, just paddle, 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 paddle. You should never stop paddling, okay? Now, I don't know if we have some more time. I would love to answer any questions if anybody have any questions, but if not, I'm going to definitely pass it back to Mr. Simon. Thanks again so much for having me on. I hope this story brought as much value as it did for me, because I need a swift kick in the butt as well. We all do.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. That was amazing. I got so much out of that. I was just having like flashbacks of my life for the last 15 to 20 years while you were speaking there. And, when you spoke about what John C. Maxwell shared about the ice freezing, all of that work from ambient temperature right down to, well, whatever it was, 32, which God knows how you guys make any sense of your system. Like what freezes at 32? Like 0 is freezing, right? 32
we don't make much sense. It doesn't make sense. That's why.
Anyway, but all of that work to go from ambient temperature down to 33 and nothing changes, and people on the sidelines, they could be laughing at you if you're doing that. And that's I just had this crazy flashback, 10, 15 years of paddling, 10, 15 years of sitting my butt in the freezer, like trying to turn into ice, right? And people just laughing at me, people mocking me, saying, you know, this never happens, that never happens. Oh, here he goes again, working on this, working on that, personal development, you're a freak. You know, I guess we're all lucky enough that this day and age, personal development is a good thing. That's one good thing social media's brought about, is it's now fashionable to be working on yourself and improving. But yeah, 10, 15 years of work before I started to notice any improvement. Would have been really easy to quit and give up in those years. But, you know, you speak about resilience, you speak about faith and belief and consistency with the Polynesians, you know, making their way and discovering Hawaii. Absolutely. And I also stop and think about, like, 400 years, guys, like, that's crazy. When you said that, that blew my mind. When you said, like, it wasn't 4 years, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it was like 15 or 20 or something. Wasn't 40, I'm thinking far out, but 400 years, like, not only consistency, resiliency, belief, faith, not only that, but imagine the leadership and the teamwork that took. Were they the same people 400 years later that began that journey? Like, the teamwork and the leadership that takes, and something of that epic proportion is never achieved individually. Anything of epic proportion. So, you know, I love the individual athletes, right? People like Usain Bolt, I use his as an example all the time. Fastest man in the world, has not achieved that by himself. Can't do it. You cannot do it by yourself. The team around him, the leadership, whether it's his or someone around him, that's how you create significant results and results of epic proportions. So thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Mendoza. As always, you're dropping the gold. I love it. I love the story. There's so much to take out of that. And I love the hat. Every girl dad, right? You know,
Yes,
what I often say to people, every father wants a son, but every father needs a daughter.
Yes.
100%.
Amen to that, sir.
Excellent. So thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Mendoza. Thank you for giving up your Saturday evening. There was tons of value in that. Thank you for you guys that were able to tune in live to this event. As all our other events, this will be posted into our Level Up, whatever it takes channel, so that, you know, the guys who couldn't make it on for whatever reason, you know, can get there and we can use this resource. There's so much in this that, regardless of where people are at in their business, that they can take out of that to help them in this business, to help them in life in general. So thank you so much, Mr. Mendoza, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening.
You guys have a great day. Stay safe, everybody. God bless you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andres. See you soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye everyone.
See ya.